A similar issue at the village outside of here with all of the spraying which came from a different.
I don't know. Maybe I wasn't here. I came back in 2000. But combinations of spraying. Oh, last year? Was there a combination? Oh, now you gotta watch those combinations. That's for starters. And then of course, you're not supposed to spray in a 10-mile-an-hour wind or whatever. You gotta watch the wind. The wind changes all the time. What do you call me on that one? Yes.
Regarding blending of new chemicals, here you have nitrogen acid, here you have thiamine. Put it together, you have LSD.
Yes.
You have separate, you don't.
Yes. I mean, a lot of guys, yeah. Yeah.
EPA established the LLD for pesticides.
LLD, the lethal dose.
Legal lethal dose.
Lethal dose, okay.
And the higher that number, obviously, the more benign it is, so to
Yeah.
speak. They've never done this with combination.
Well, I wasn't sure, I've never seen it, and the lawyer who put this all together said, I mean, I trust that guy, the guy's been on this thing for a year, and certainly not 3 or 4 at once. Yes, well, yes.
You mentioned the attempt to regulate farms and the irrigation of water.
Yes.
In particular, types of farming like aquaponics that's using live ecosystems, no pesticides, but that would be something impacted by these types of regulations. So we could speak to the health safety of growing food in aquaponic type ecosystems and where that stands with the regulations.
Okay, first of all, aquaponics, if they had it their way and said, you know, the germ guys, you gotta have, I mean, I don't see how you could possibly survive. There's parasites, but germs eat fish that can infect humans. So, there's no way. But if you do it the other way, let's look at pesticides. You know, all right, to be fair, you would go to an aquaponics guy and say, well, what pesticides are you using? Because there might be aquaponics guys who's using pesticides up the yazoos. I mean, to be fair. Okay, so, but the germ guys, you know, there's no way you can do aquaponics. Now, first people on Maui went around saying the Department of Health is going to crack down on you for germs. And I ran this through the Department of Health. I told everybody I could think of and said, that's not us. We don't say that. So I went back to the Department of Ag people and said, quit using our name like that. You know, it is not a health issue. And this person said, but shouldn't it be? And I said, no. I mean, right. They're using our name, and then it's like, shouldn't it be like that? No. Yeah. Yes.
In Europe, they banned many chemicals in agriculture and industry. If they're not proven safe before the combining, they're not allowed at all. We're so far behind.
Yes. There's 2 kinds of chemicals we're combining. One is the pesticides, you know, spraying the yazoos. And some are the stuff to feed the animals so it doesn't get sick. You remember the E. coli of the bee sprouts? Yeah. All right, hey. Now, you think, whoa, what's that organic? One was the E. coli of the bee sprouts, but the other was multi-drug resistant. Somebody put antibiotics in whatever the manure was, and it was multi-drug resistant. So when I talk about chemicals and combining and all that, I'm not just talking about pesticides, I started off, but it is also the antibiotics that you feed your chickens or whatever. You have no idea what the combinations will unleash. Yes?
So, I heard you mention Hawaii.
What?
What's going on with pesticides there?
I don't know. I usually respond if the community calls me around an incident. So they call me in Dubai, and then they call me,
So how can we find out, like, when the roadside sprayings are happening, or pesticides are being
Well,
used by the county?
okay, let's just wait to the 3rd topic, because then that probably really interests you.
This is fascinating. I wanted to know what part of Hawaii.
I've seen it.
But here's telling us.
Okay,
Which part of Hawaii is most recent?
Waimea. Apparently the parent company, again, it mixed up, the one coming out, Delaware and DuPont, the parent came out to negotiate. So, you know, when the parent company comes out, it's not like, oh, good, you did it, you're wrong. Yes.
If I could follow up on the aquaponics.
Yes.
Have you ever been an incident where somebody's gotten sick from aquaponics? Is there
From
something-
fish.
From produce in an aquaponics?
Oh, from produce and aquaponics? No,
Yeah.
no. We have had produce contaminated by cow manure, pig manure, chicken manure, but fish can carry germs that infect you, but we just haven't seen that much. But there hasn't been a whole lot of aquaponics.
Right.
Maybe someday we will.
There are test strips that are available that you can test for the more dangerous E. coli and for
Yeah,
salmonella.
but I wouldn't even worry about that because you can rinse off the lettuce.
Right.
I mean, just rinse off the lettuce. But chemicals you cannot rinse off. I mean,
Well, in the bean sprouts, there was some concern that it might have been
Yeah,
inside
right.
the plants
It
itself.
would be the other way around. If you went and tested your fish and said, oh, come to my farm, it's sterile. That's a false sense of security because a bird is going to crap in the pond and a chicken. And then it's like, oh, so we don't have to wash because Mike says,
Yeah, it's fine.
Mike, you don't have to wash because Mike's stuff is clean. It's not. You're going to have to wash. The worker touched something. You're going to have to wash. So it's a very false sense of security to sterilize the production sites. Yes,
When I make sprouts,
sprouts.
I soak the sprouts and then I rinse them repeatedly while they're sprouting. Yet, people get E. coli infections from eating sprouts. How is that the E. coli are not able to be washed off by soaking and so forth?
I know where you're coming from. I read that. There was a special report about sprouts. I have to read a little more. I personally think that any germ can be washed off unless it damages the sprout and the sprout, you know, if it's really hidden in the sprout, and you have to open up the sprout and erect it.
Just with plain water, should wash off.
No, some have to be scrubbed off. The mucus trail of the snail, the rat lung, it has to be scrubbed off, the mucus trail. So they say a vegetable brush. But I don't know that much about sprouts itself, except it seems to be an issue.
Well, there's a lady here on the island that makes sprouts professionally.
Yes.
She told me that the alfalfa seeds have an intrinsic E. coli infection.
Correct, I heard that. But I don't see biologically how it's possible to put a germ into the sprout or whatever.
Could be
like a normal
possible that
sprout.
they're on the outside of the seeds, but they're not so easy to wash off.
Say again?
Could it be that they're on the outside of the seed, but they're not so easy to wash off as you assume?
It could be. It could be. I ran a lab for Walter Reed in bacteriology, and eggs were notorious. No matter what you did to the egg, you couldn't clean it off. And we thought it was in the egg. It wasn't. You just could never wash off the egg. I mean, so, you know, that's why they soaked it and they da. So it is possible that something might be very hard to wash. It's a double-edged sword. A lot of the germs or a lot of bacteria, microbes in the soil are good. They're the ones that are competing and killing the pathogens. Even in your gut is full of germs. There's normal flora, which suppresses the bad ones. If you go take too much antibiotic and suppress the normal flora, you're asking for trouble. So same with the your world.
Can you guys testing radiation in the milk here in Maui?
Okay. The radiation was being tested in the air. They told us that when it contaminates our food and water and all, it'd be coming in, we're talking about Japan, it'd be coming over the air, then settle as dust and then get into our stuff. So we're mostly watching the air. The reports are up, it's not bad. I mean, it's okay. The air. Now, if you got melt coming in, from Japan, well then all bets are off because that ain't the air, that's like the food itself. And the FDA was supposed to screen all food, seafood, milk, and all that coming in.
experience with using like the grapeseed extract as an antibacterial or?
No, I've never done that. I don't, my job was to test drugs and vaccines for malaria. Our 2 lead drugs are herbal because our chemicals ran out. So I have nothing against natural broad herbal, but I want them tested according to Western standards, including toxicity. Yes.
Have you ever heard of using chlorine dioxide?
To cure malaria? No. There must be a toxicity in there, so I mean, that sounds not good. Okay. Okay, no more questions? Yes.
Last year, the committee together, which is 2009, the number one cause of foodborne disease in the U.S. alfalfa sprouts. And the hypothesis of why that is not that alfalfa sprouts have more E. coli, because all sprouts have E. coli is everywhere. There's 2 things. Number one, the alfalfa sprout has a larger surface area than the grass, and it's smaller. So if you try to wash off E. coli, you can never get the sprouts really dry, and E. coli lives in the water. So that's one factor. The second factor is that there are more alfalfa sprouts sold and eaten than any other sprout by far. So more people in the population are exposed to the E. coli alfalfa sprouts, and therefore you're getting a larger segment of people who have not a compromised immune system and can't overcome that infection.
Thank you. Yes.
She brought up the immune system, which is my go-to solution. Build my immune system so that germs and bacteria have less effect on me. Can you talk about that at all?
The question is, what is the effect of the immune system?
Power of the immune system.
Your immune system is very important, but most people got it pretty well. The other thing is your normal flora. There's a lot of bacteria in your mouth and in your gut that's protecting you from really bad stuff. The minute your immune system doesn't work, then we have problems. We just leave it at that. That's a whole long, talk for weeks about it, except for one small thing. Now I speak as a private citizen. The American Academy of Environmental Medicine, 300 physicians and PhDs, they take a very strong position against GM food. And they, doctors are supposed to warn patients you don't know what to be eating. Second of all, if I see something unusual, I have to consider genetically engineered food, even without label. They want independent studies, and they want label and more learning. And they give all the background information, including animals. You go read, it's not up there, because I'm not supposed to talk about GMOs. You read the website, American Academy of Environmental Medicine. You see all the animal studies. It affects every system except maybe heart, but especially the immune system. Especially reproductive, everything except heart wasn't there, but that's only because we haven't gotten a great animal model for heart. Yes.
So if we brought back a bill next year asking for a labeling again, I think our chances will be better.
Yes. The question is GMOs. If you ask for the label, how's your chances? To tell you the truth, labeling is halfway there. I do drugs and vaccines. I like to see risk-benefit, and I want to know the harm. If you're not going to test the harm, you say, but I'll label it. We don't allow that stuff. But it's better than nothing. So that's kind of a half solution. Very dangerous half, but better than what we're doing now. By the way, the Codex just allowed, it's the international guides for labeling. The U.S. always vetoed it. They should say we label, the U.S. says no. The U.S. was silent 1 month ago, and it passed. The world is allowed to label. Now, whether or not the U.S. chooses to label is up to them. Yes?
So if you're labeling in Europe, it has reduced people's consumption of humans.
Yes.
Because most people are given the choice to choose not to eat it. They can
Right.
buy produce that doesn't have it. But given the clout of Monsanto, particularly here in Hawaii, how can we possibly get the label through? They've been fighting that. Any area that has that on the ballot, Monsanto throws so much money at making that not pass. What can we do?
First of all, you have a double-edged sword here. A lot of the seed companies grow for animal feed, and they will say, you're not going to eat it, so why should I label it? The bags is not for human consumption. But the pollen, reading the kids' in the school breeding and stuff. I mean, that's so ironic that it's not for human consumption, but we're all breeding it. So here in Hawaii, it's a little different altogether. That's industrial stuff, not for human consumption. The whole foods, like GM papaya, should be labeled. And that was Senator Gabbard's bill. But he said, oh, nobody helped me, everyone abandoned me. I mean, he was correct. But he's, in my opinion, you're halfway there. You should not even release the thing till you know what you're doing. Let alone label it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so time is up, but I think the GMO conversation is gonna move over into the next topic.
A little bit.
Okay.
Okay, next topic.